do, do, do. Join us, Rosie. Do, 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 do.
You can unmute yourself. You're
Do,
a co-host.
do, 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 do. Okay, enough of that now. Good evening, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Jean-Luc.
And this is Sundays with Jean-Luc and Nick.
It is. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday, February 6th. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it the 6th
Yeah, it's the 6th today.
Yeah.
It's kind of insane.
What the what? Again.
And we have a special guest tonight. You all know her as our lovely assistant.
Seba and Keiko's our special guest.
They decided to join us tonight. But no, Rosie is our special guest tonight. And this is a special episode. Like, Rosie's been our guest before. We did it as a group last time, but we're actually going to have each moderator at some point come on. We have Kim coming up soon. We'll probably have Patricia and
Definitely
Melanie
have
Bells
Patricia and Mel Bells come back.
and come back at some point as well. And it's very important to us because you know what? Rosie, Kim, Patricia, and Mel do a lot for us.
In the background that you guys
don't know. And they do it out of the goodness of their own heart. They don't get paid to do any of this stuff. They do it because they love helping.
We pay them with our friendship.
Yeah, we with our friendship, which I don't know if it's worth enough. Like I
don't know.
I'm looking at Rosie's face. She's like, I think I need to be paid a bit more.
She's like, I need to increase this. She's like, show me the money. So
money gun.
Just so you know, tonight's word is about change. We're going to use the word change as
the water word.
The water word, because as all of you know, Rosie's gone through some pretty big changes in her journey, and we want to talk about Rosie's.
Just little changes.
Rosie.
Just a couple
changes.
We're going to talk about Rosie.
So before we even get started, Rosie, we do have a few announcements to make. Just a few things that we want to catch up on. So this morning was the launch of Kim's blog, Kim's Life as a Migrainer, on our website, jeanlucandnick.com. So if you have not read it yet, just go to Jean-Luc and Nick and you'll see it right there up front and center.
She will be our Sunday blogger. So keep an eye out for her posts. Again, when she feels like posting. Yes. We don't enforce a weekly, we don't dictate anything to our blog. Yeah, every 2 weeks. There you go. Excellent. Thanks, Kim. So Kim will be posting every 2 weeks, which we absolutely love.
We also sent out our new newsletter.
Our very first new newsletter
this week.
So pretty.
So I know a lot of people had issues. Thank you. I know a lot of people had issues receiving it.
Yes.
So if you still have not received the newsletter, send us an email, hello@jeanlucandnick.com. What happens is that the internet mail providers often block email addresses. So if you send us an email, it basically tells your email provider saying, I will accept, because you're basically adding us your contact list by doing that.
Yeah.
So if you did not get the email, send us an email. We'll figure out how to get it to you. And then hopefully next month it'll fix itself when we want to
reiterate that it is a monthly newsletter.
Yes.
It's not a weekly newsletter. So you will be getting it monthly, and it will basically have all the information. That's
our guests coming up, recipes, what's happening in our world. There's a lot of stuff coming up on our website soon.
Definitely. The website is being changed, revamped.
Yeah, there's actually, you guys will see a change starting probably tomorrow soon, because the header is being changed tomorrow. There's going to be less busy.
We got a new logo.
So things will start changing logo-wise as well. Our name is changing as well. It's just going to be Jean-Luc and Nick. It's just Jean-Luc and Nick now. We're basically changing to just be us, because we're realizing that our world is all about wellness of any stripes. Our site's motto will be, our site tagline will be
wellness, happiness, success, and happiness.
That's going to be the
Those
three
are
words.
The 3 words that we want to focus on, because that's what really matters, right?
Yeah.
And if you are happy during your journey, no matter what program you follow or where you are, that is going to lead you to success.
Exactly. And happiness.
And happiness and wellness.
Ooh.
Right? And wellness.
See that there? We tied it all together. So that's coming up. We wanted to make sure you guys are aware of that. And then something else that happened this week is that a body step is changing. We talked about this during class today, but for those of you who tried step before, you might want to try it again, because we are bringing remix consistently now.
Yes, every class will be a remix.
And so what that means is that the classes change all the time. The music will change often. The moves will be more dynamic. You guys will have more fun. We've been listening to the comments and the feedback, and that's what we found out through. So when we tell people that we're doing
how we're doing this is the volumes that we've already created will always remain. Those songs will be our regular volumes. However, the moves that we were teaching you will be the same, but they won't be as choreographed as they used to be. So we're trying to remove
more free form.
Yes, more free form, less complicated, more easy, so people can participate and feel comfortable participating. That's what we want.
So if you tried it before, want to try it again, just send us an email. We're actually going to reach out to a few people that haven't done class in a while, and then we'll send you guys, a message about how it's changed, and then you guys can come try out the new body step remix version of the class that we've been doing.
Exactly.
So now back to Rosie.
Woohoo!
Let's go on location with Rosie. Rosie, how's the weather over there?
Who is this Rosie?
Some person.
So Rosie, can you just introduce yourself first? Let us know about who you are, and I'll share your before after once you're done sharing your
my name is Rosie. I also known as Lovely Assistant around here. I come from I've been a big person my whole life. And, it started at puberty. I don't think I've ever been what's quote unquote skinny is. I've just never been. I was a big kid, not necessarily fat, but a big kid, and started I started puberty at the age of 9, which in the 80s was unheard of, and hormonal imbalance. And that was part of the reason why I would gain weight, but also the excuse I used as to why I didn't have to deal with it. And I have done the weight loss rodeo up many times. By the time I was over 200 pounds, by the time I was 15 years old, so maybe even 14. So it's really an unusual, it's just been what my life was, and it's who I was, and I identified as the fat chick and figured I'd always be that. And this last time, I guess what I can say what's brought me in was the month my birthday, and I wanted to do something special for myself and get made to order dresses, and had to do measurements around my arms. Now my arms, which I love and embrace and accept that proportionately to the rest of my body aren't the same. It's just the way my genetically made, because my grandmother get it from my bubby. They were over 22 inches around, and that made me cry. And about a month later, I started the journey again. So that was in April of 2019 or 20, must be 2018. We're on 3 years.
It must be.
No, 2019, I'm pretty certain, because 19, 20, 21, we're in 22.
Yeah. 19.
So it was 19.
It's after we lost. It's after the year after us. Yes, 19.
And what I've always focused on is the mental aspect of it, because I had to decide if I was going to do this, what is different about this time than the previous times where I've done this. And I made some certain rules for myself about things, like I understood I wasn't going to necessarily lose weight quickly, because I'm a middle-aged woman with a hormonal imbalance. But my journey has changed so much. I also wanted to understand the why. I'm a person who likes to understand why things happen the way they do. It's there's the psychology of it. Many people here who know me know I talk about things from a mental perspective, and that's really what it comes down to. Because for me, food, where I'm at now, in terms of food is what I need to sustain. It's not what I need in order to make myself feel better. I don't snack. I very rarely binge. If I binge, it's on fruit. And it's all about, and I've understood why I'm a believer in, why am I behaving? What is this behavior? Why do I do this? How do I make that change? And that's sort of what happened. The word change, and I didn't even mean to.
So actually, Rosie, it comes up with a good question.
Yeah. So you want to show?
I'll share the
picture, and I want to ask this question as people see this picture, because I think this is really going to be insightful. So, what was a day in the life before beginning your weight loss journey, your health?
This current health journey.
Yeah, in 2019. What was this Rosie like? What were you doing?
This Rosie was not. I had lots of panic attacks. I was ashamed. When I would eat on one of my binges, I'd bring them all in these bags and stuff them in the bags so my mother couldn't see it. Me, a middle-aged woman who's an adult, who should be able to have control over what you want. And I would go upstairs to my room and I would eat the whole shebang in one evening. And I'd sit and do my computer, watching, whatever I'm watching, and that would be my thing. Oh Lord, that photo. I don't recognize, and the honest truth is, I know that's me. I don't recognize that person anymore.
Yeah.
That's not who I am in the slightest. And I have a friend who saw this and said, "You didn't ever look like that." I was like, "Yeah, I did."
Yeah. Isn't that a common question, a common statement you get going, "You never look like that"? So many people who know you don't see you that way.
And we met you that way. And that doesn't look like you to me.
Yeah. Because because our relationship is based on a very different set of things. It's also what I see in myself. And as I said, I see someone who's happy, in quotations, who, I've always been a cheerful person and do my best to be nice and look at the positives of things, even when I really didn't feel it. It just wasn't, I was not a happy person in reality. I hated myself. I didn't love myself. And I think it's as I've said this many, many times, that I believe it's important that you have to love yourself as you are right at this very specific moment, because it doesn't matter if you love yourself now. You won't love yourself. If you don't love yourself now, you're not going to love yourself at whatever that magical number is that you think is the perfect weight for you. It's not going to happen. And that's part of the problem, part of the thing. You have to learn to love yourself as you are right now.
Then, now, and
I
forever.
Love myself now. And I will tell you, I love myself. I can tell you all the great qualities about me. In those pictures, I wouldn't have been able, I would have said, there's this wrong with me, this wrong with me, this wrong with me, this wrong with me. Always go to the negative.
That brings a question though. So as you now, can you look at those pictures and find qualities that you liked about yourself then?
That's a good question. I really should.
He's Barbara Walters tonight.
Well, for me, I look at someone who I can see certain qualities. I see things that I don't like about them, and I don't recognize. But what I do know is that person, ultimately, I'm still that same person in some ways. I do have those qualities. I'm funny as hell. I'm a quirky person. I've always embraced my quirkiness and my unusualness. I am good at, I'm smart. I'm no less smarter in that photo than I am today. I just have a different kind of self-awareness, right?
Yeah. I love that you just said that. I love that you said, I was funny then, I'm still funny now. I'm quirky then, I'm still quirky now. I was smart then, I am still smart now. Like,
I love that, because a lot of people
may not have believed that I was smart at that point. A lot of this, we all talk about these sort of imposter syndrome, where we think we're like, I do that in my daily work too. This week was the first time for a while in my new job. I've been there for 7 months, but I sat down and I created something. I said, my boss wanted me to do something, and I started looking at it and said, well, here's what I have a question about. And I sent him a long email sort of explaining my thoughts on it. And the next day, it was at the end of the day. So the next day I had a response, and he's like, you're absolutely right. This is the right thing to do. So obviously you need to know you're capable. And I think sometimes it's really easy to not feel like you're capable. And I think when you're emotional and you're having anxiety and panic, that lack of control, it doesn't matter what every day is. It's those things overpower anything else that's there.
And I think too, and I'm speaking from personal experience, because you're in the same boat as us, after trying so many times and seeing that person reflect to yourself through the mirror, often that ends up being, you start believing the things you tell yourself, and you start believing.
You guys know, I often used to refer to myself as the fat chick. That was one of my identifying features. And I firmly believe that if you believe that about yourself and you identify yourself as that, why would you then think that I'm going to say some other stuff afterwards, but why would being 150 pounds less If you lose 150 pounds and identify yourself as a fat chick, why are you not just going to go? You're just going to go back to being the fat chick because that's how you identify yourself.
Exactly.
Even though reality is we're so much more than that. That's just what you look like, maybe.
It's the outer shell.
And it's a negative, and it's looking at yourself from a negative perspective.
And I honestly, I'm glad you brought that up because I really think it's important to understand that there's body positivity and there's people who are quite happy and just as healthy being at whatever weight they feel comfortable at. And I think that's a huge thing that we need to realize. Sorry. Can you not hear me?
No, you can. No,
I can hear you.
Okay. Us as individuals need to make those decisions on our own and make sure that we are comfortable in the skin that we're living in.
Not what other people
think about you.
I was very determined, and this is something at the very beginning. I mean, this is a whole nother change in my thinking as I've been doing this, which is talking about looking at numbers and this goal number. And I've been open about it already that I'm not doing WW because of the numbers, which were creating all this number stuff. And sort of, I was becoming obsessive, but the goal number doesn't matter to me anymore.
Well, and that's what actually one thing that we wanted to ask you about, because we're a WW member for quite some time and lost a huge portion of your weight on WW.
80 pounds.
80 pounds on WW. And so,
and then along the way, you became vegan, vegetarian. So how did that,
where did that come into your play in your plan?
Becoming a vegan?
Well, yeah. So, how did that start?
So I was a vegetarian for a long, long time back in the 80s. I actually became a vegetarian when my cousin bet me I couldn't last for 2 weeks, and I lasted for 13 years.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And I started eating because I had done some weird, funky tests that told me I was allergic to all these things. So it was limiting my, it's a test that I think is a load of crud, and I don't think it exists anymore. But I was having food issues. So I decided to start eating meat because I needed something. And I've always wanted to be a vegan, and I had, there's some things about how meat is prepared and treated and sort of the socioeconomic issues that go along with it. So that was part of it. There is an environmental aspect of it that I will admit that has attracted me to being a vegan. And I did start at one point when I was craving meat, and it was because I was having iron issues. But I haven't had iron issues since, and it wasn't that I was anemic, but I was low iron. So I'd been playing with it. Often during my food prep, I would have vegetarian weeks where I wouldn't eat any meat. And I was already doing non-dairy milk. And basically the only things I had were yogurt. I was having yogurt, eggs, and chicken. That was pretty much all I was eating. And I think I said to myself, if I have another chicken breast, I am going to die. So I'm going to go and have a vegan week. And I'd been having issues with going up gradually, and I was not really going anywhere at this point. And I just decided just become vegan, and I did. And it's not as hard as for me. It wasn't hard because I'm not like cool, full on, like somebody.
A meat fanatic. Like you're not a big meat eater.
Someone I know said her daughter wanted to be a vegan, but the reason she couldn't was because she loves bacon too much. I'm like, I don't eat bacon.
Yeah.
You can make bacon with banana peels. I saw it on TikTok.
Yeah, no, thank you.
But no.
I did see it on TikTok.
I made a nacho cheese sauce today.
I heard that. So you made that nacho cheese sauce. I know it's a little off topic here, but I loved it. You made it was carrots, walnuts, and what was that? What else was it?
Carrots, cashews, potato. It has it also has some spice in it, like garlic, and I put sriracha to give it a little zing.
Nutritional yeast?
Nutritional yeast is the other factor into it. So it's a bunch of stuff. You boil it and you grind it, and it tastes like cheese.
Well, honestly, it's kind of funny that you mentioned food, because this afternoon we were with Key from Key's Kitchen, Kieran, and with Antonetta working on Power 3 stuff. And we all know that Key is vegetarian as well. She's a vegetarian, plant-based. She's not vegan.
Right.
Because again, understanding veganism is a movement. It's not a it's how I can't explain it as well as Key did, but it's a movement. It's people who do not want to eat animal-based products. While being a vegetarian is very different, right? So, and there's specific reasons why people wouldn't eat eggs. And anyways, but she made us an entire vegan tacos, vegetarian vegan tacos. They were delicious. There was nachos. It was amazing. Cauliflower as the meat.
Yeah,
like it was insane.
I think that a lot of people are scared to try it, even if it's not necessarily a philosophical reason. I mean, I live with, my father's been a vegetarian for, almost 40 years. My sister is as well. It's very common in my family. One of my nieces is vegan. But it sometimes feels a bit daunting, or for somebody who is such a meat person, the idea, even if you eat a little bit, not even that, you don't even have to go whole hog. Just try some stuff, and it's gotten better.
No pun intended there.
Whole hog.
It's gotten better over the years too. When we were vegetarians, and the kind of patties you had to mix water. They were disgusting.
Right.
But now you have more options.
I was going to ask you, Rosie. Like, one of the questions I have to ask you is, what have you noticed since you've done this? Because I know, like, our example, like we gave up a lot of processed products and some meats when we started our journey this time. And we noticed that it was a very huge benefit for us in terms of health. Like, we've noticed some changes in us that now we feel better when we don't eat. Like, when we eat processed foods now, our bodies tell us. Our bodies are like, whoa.
Well, for me, the processed foods were being cut out long before I was vegan, because that was one of my choices early on in my thing. Was I wanted to eat as few processed foods as possible. I feel disgusting when I eat anything processed, and you can taste the difference. You really can taste the difference. And I find it it's been, for me, the change of just that change actually is what was a huge difference in this round, because I think I'm going to say this and everyone will be like, oh, whatever. I think if you notice, there are more people with food allergies than there ever have been before, and various things. And I think it has to do with the amount of processed foods that we all eat. And that the less processed we eat, the better it is for us overall.
And I'll add my second, like, check mark to that. We did not successfully lose weight till that we actually got rid of processed foods for us.
And don't get us wrong, we still eat processed foods.
It's not. I mean,
within reason. Within reason.
It went night and day. I mean, in terms of, like, we ate everything processed back in the day.
The noodles in a processed bag with the powdered cheese sauce.
We would buy pre-made spaghetti sauce, pre-made like spring rolls, pre-made this, pre-made that. Now, if you guys have noticed the recipes, Jean-Luc makes a lot of these things from scratch, and that change alone, we still eat the stuff we loved, but we made it ourselves now. And when we started doing that, it tasted better. And then our weight started to come off all of a sudden. And that's not the only thing we did. Like, we did a lot of stuff to get here, but it was part of the process.
The other thing about that is that, for example, one of the things I made a decision very early on in this process of this journey was I was going to not, like, I was doing WW, right? Like everyone else, most of the people here, I think, are WW people. Yeah. You make adjustments, and everyone's like, ooh, 0% yogurt is 0 points. And the reality is, from what I understand about dairy, is that you do need some fat in dairy in order to process the protein properly. So I very, very early on decided that I wasn't going to do 0 point thing, and I would take the hit on the points.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because as we were eating with Key today and we were talking about dairy products, she's like, I'm not against dairy products. I'm against cow dairy products. But goat's milk, she's like, there's nothing wrong with goat's milk. There's other types of milk that our bodies can take better than cow's milk, in a sense.
And it's been a key ingredient for us. We used to drink milk all the time, and it's something that now that it's never in our fridge anymore.
And I think it's important that we all make the choices, whatever choice you are making for yourself. They're your choices, and there's no right or wrong for every person.
And thank you for saying that.
And nobody here tonight, don't go like, oh, I can't believe it's telling me I shouldn't have milk and I shouldn't have pasta. No, this is your life. We're just saying what worked for us.
Yeah, and for me, it was I had stopped with. So actually, it was when Antonetta did this 50-day challenge, and we weren't supposed to have certain things, and that's sort of gradually also where my lack of dairy stuff was. I think it was because, no, I don't know what I'm talking about. I lost my train of thought there. But yeah, I had decided I was going to use 2% yogurt. And then when Kieran suggested the coconut yogurt, which I know you guys don't like coconut yogurt, but I like.
We buy cashew now.
We buy cashew now.
We got cashew yogurt now.
Love it.
But there's it's higher in points for more. I still counted it. I measured it out and I counted it. I mean, it's not rocket science. And having one serving of it is totally fine. But, you know, I think what works for one person is not the same for everybody. Our attitudes change, our philosophies change. My mind has changed so much in sort of what I think and where I do. And I also, you need to understand what works for you. And as I said, and I've said it here already, is I'm not doing WW anymore. And because I know it works for so many people, and it's not the program. It's that I got to a point where I was worried about going out and eating anything. I've been OCD. I become obsessive compulsive, and it can trigger panic attacks. So I'm like, why do that to myself when it's not working? And then, you know, I already know what I'm eating is right. And the important thing for me was always about making sure what had become part of my journey in the last year was never about the points, because I had the points down pat. It was eat, because it's so easy to eat 0 point foods and fill yourself up to the point that you feel gross and disgusting and stuffed, just like you can with anything else. So I spent most of my time trying to understand my body is full, but not overstuffed. So I'm working towards not being overstuffed all the time, accepting the fact that I will eat again. You know, I think that's another thing. I think sometimes we all eat like we're never going to eat that food ever again.
I'm never having pasta again.
We can have it tomorrow.
Well, you kind of admitted something prior to the show. What did you have at Christmas this year?
Ice cream.
Oh, was it vegan dairy ice cream?
No, it was regular ice cream. What happened was my mother.
You're off the island.
My family, what was very funny was because it's Christmas and we have our tradition, everybody has family traditions, and we normally have apple crisp which I don't eat because my mom uses wheat and I can't have gluten. That's the one thing that I can't have. And there was ice cream, but because it got canceled, because first it got canceled because my brother and his family weren't coming up after all, and then my parents and I had got COVID. So I said, and there was ice cream sitting in the fridge. So I'm like, I'll eat it. And then what happened was we bought it because then my niece and nephew were coming to town and they couldn't come into the house in the end because they had been exposed to someone with COVID. So I ate more ice cream. So I'm not perfect, and I don't claim to be.
That's a key thing to talk about, because a lot of people think they get down on themselves for having those moments, or they get mad at themselves for having those moments. But I think that's just being human.
Well, one of my perfect examples, I went away on a holiday I was out of my house and out of my regular routine for 12 days. And I was freaked out about what was going to happen food-wise, because you're used to being in control of your food, right? And so, but I ate veggie burgers, French fries. I had lots of baked goods, yummy baked goods.
And this was all stuff that was prepared at restaurants and stores. It wasn't someone preparing it for you at home.
There was some able to prepare and some not, because when you're traveling, you've got people who want to see you. I was doing a work thing, which was catered in, and the catering was meh for vegan, because I was the only vegan gluten-free person in the thing. I appreciate that they made the effort. I mean, there was food. It just was like toast with peanut butter, which is fine. I like toast and peanut butter, and I can do that. But
we love almond butter now, which we never thought we would like almond butter. Oh my God.
Almond butter on an English muffin.
It's so good.
Delicious.
And but the thing was, I was so terrified, and I said, well, what's going to happen when I come back Monday? I'm just going to go back to doing what I did. And that's exactly what happened. I didn't then go, well, I'm not weighing in until the following Saturday, so I'm just going to keep shoving food in my face. I had food that I'd already had frozen in the freezer, which I said, Mom, can you pull it out so that when I get in on Monday morning, it's ready for me to go? That's what I did. The freedom of knowing that you can have something again is such a big freedom to feel. Like, it's something that you have to realize on this journey. A lot of us are of the mindset of deprivation. I'm going to stop eating this because I want to lose weight. And then their mentality goes straight right away. Oh my,
I'm never having
it again
because I need to lose weight.
Jean-Luc, your thing's starting to go out now. Yeah, no, I agree with you. But for me, I mean, food is not the important factor in my life. I think that's what the problem is that we focus on food. And that's one of the reasons I sort of went, I'm going to do my thing right now, because when I focus so much on the food, it creates mind games on myself. And I'm more than food. And the reality is I haven't been binging in a long time. And food for me is about nourishing my body. It's not about nourishing my emotional needs. And when I've been able to work on that, that's when I started not, like, when people say, why don't you binge? I'm like, I don't need it.
Well, you basically eat to live. You don't live to eat is what you're saying. Yeah.
And I think another thing for you, Rosie, and I'll bring it up because it's something I think probably has helped you
He's
as well.
imposing his thoughts on you, Rosie.
I'm not imposing my thoughts.
I'm
thinking you share a lot in our group.
Yeah.
You go live, you talk about what's happening to you. You didn't have this way to kind of release these thoughts back in the day when you were Rosie we showed you before. And I think probably allowing yourself to share those vulnerable moments, those moments those thoughts you're having, is probably also helping you cope with those demons you used to have with food and binging.
And writing. I started writing long before I was blogging. I'd been writing for a long time about what I would do. What I would do on a Sunday is I would go to a coffee shop. This is the part I missed, is I would spend part of my Sunday morning. I'd get up, go to a coffee shop, have coffee, and write for an hour or two. And it was always so delightful and cathartic, and it helped me work through these thoughts. And
I love that.
Also, what the blogging does, that's what the videos do too, is they do the same thing.
You should read Rosie's blog on her website, Jean-Luc-and-Nick.com, every Monday. Almost every Monday.
I may not be tomorrow because I didn't write any.
That's okay.
Well, she's talking today, so she has to post tomorrow, but the week after.
And it's funny, Rosie had a huge impact on me early on in her journey when she started putting videos up on our group, and I was like, I just love this girl. There was something about her that just like spoke to me, and how she was just, she didn't beat around the bush. She just said what she wanted to say, and she was full of energy. And I was like, I was so glad that she felt comfortable enough to share, and look where she's come. Look who she's become in the group.
Well, look at what it's done on her journey as well.
Definitely.
Because again, you're a repeat frequent flyer.
We don't like a repeat offender.
And
it's too negative.
I think you've said before that this is probably one of the most successful times you've been able to do this because of what you've been able to do this time.
Yeah. I mean, the fact is, to me, it's about the mind. It's always been about my mind. And I think it's the hardest. I will say this to every person. Everyone's like, my mindset's great. I actually think the deeper inner things that are going on inside are really hard to face. Mm-hmm. And that's really what it's about. And it's, I listen to people sometimes and I can see it, and I sort of say, I know what you're feeling, and it's this. But they're not necessarily ready to do that. And that's because everybody's got to do it in their own time, in their own order. And I am not, and you sit there and you sort of want to shake them sometimes, going, this is what it should be. Because
you're talking about your niece, or I don't know who you were saying about bacon, right? If you would have told Nick and Jean-Luc in their 20s that they were going to eat bacon again, they would have been like, you're crazy. But nowadays,
I don't want bacon.
I don't want bacon.
It does
nothing for me anymore. It used to, but I've evolved. I've changed.
Don't get me wrong. If I smell it, I'm like, that smells good. But then bacon. I remember how I feel after I eat it.
The gut feeling and the horrible stomach cramps I get after eating it. It's like a trigger. You get bacon. ouch. Like, you know, it's like you associate.
Pavlov's dog. You ring a bell and you'll salivate,
you associate the thought of that food that you want to kind of reduce, and you associate with how you feel. And so when you smell it, you just remember how you feel, and it helps you sometimes to kind of avoid that food. And that's something that we use all the time still.
So I have another question for you, and I love these questions. One of them, you said you wanted to answer it, and I'm going to ask that one later, but would you do this all over again?
This current journey?
This journey. Yes. Would you do it all over again? Absolutely. If you had to?
Absolutely. You have to. I mean, I can't imagine what my life where I don't even know where I'd be right now if I hadn't. I wouldn't have you guys.
We wouldn't have you either.
I wouldn't have Kim. You know, I mean, there's so many people on this.
Everybody, yeah, exactly.
Everybody,
well, if we wouldn't have started this room wouldn't be here right now.
These 55 people in Zoom would not be here.
The 9 plus on the Facebook ones, the Instagram ones.
Like, honestly,
YouTube.
It is. I'm so glad that you said yes, because we know that we would redo this if we had
in a heartbeat. Why would I would never want to go back to being miserable as I was.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like not that I wasn't. I think people would say this about me, and I would say I don't know what you're talking about when they talk about who I am. And I mean, I think we all do that, and it's because of self-esteem and anxiety and all of that stuff that I'm very open about. For me, I wouldn't be. I need to learn how to I'm such a rich, enhanced person, having done this work for myself and meeting all of these people and living through these experiences. Making changes. Why would I not want to do it again? I said it a few times and you weren't drinking. I saw it. I know I purposely said it a few times. You weren't drinking.
You should have told me.
But
we need a bell. Ding.
My life is so enriched in such a different way, and how I feel about myself, maybe what other people always thought about me, but I didn't feel about myself. So why would I want to go back to that? Or if I go back to that, why wouldn't I want to come back to it?
Yeah.
You know? This is a natural high. This sugar high, which you go up and down. My panic attacks last maybe an hour if I have a panic attack these days. And instead of it going from a super extreme down to one extreme, it's sort of it's this instead of this, you know, wow. The two extremes. And I can talk to myself. I mean, I went through a panic attack. I said, why are you panicking? I talked to myself, said, why are you panicking? And then said, what do you want to do about it? And I said, I just want to go home and have a bath. Normally I'd say, I want a bag of chips.
And I think that's the key, Rosie. I think that's when we see a lot of people post often in the group and just generally on social media, you know, I'm struggling. I just don't want to do this anymore. And I think one of the things that you have to learn is that you have to love yourself where you're at today, which is key.
Talk to yourself.
You have to talk to yourself, and you have to also realize that if you're doing this just for a temporary fix for a small period of time, then this is not going to work long term. You really have to examine yourself and your life and how you're doing things to really see what can I change, to a small tweak here and there that can transform my current life to make this enjoyable and also make this so that I can do this in the long run. Because if you're thinking you're going to be here doing this, whatever, WW, Jenny Craig, I don't know, I'll name all keto, anything you want. If you're doing it and you're saying, I'm only going to do it because I know I have a wedding coming up in 6 months, and after that wedding, I'm just go back to it, then you'll be right back to where you're at right now eventually.
And worse.
And worse sometimes. And that's why people say, oh, I lost all this weight on WW, but I gained it all back. That's because our goal is always to get to that goal weight or that event or that thing that we want to get to. But if you change it and say, my goal is to live
my life.
It's to live my life. I want to live as long as possible. And so if you're doing changes to yourself every day, don't change yourself to the point where you're not recognizing yourself. If you're not a runner, don't start running a 5K. But if you're a walker, go walk every day. If you're a person who enjoys cleaning, clean your house every single day. Just do it every day. It doesn't matter if it's not dusty. Just do it again.
I think the other important thing is that everybody needs to, somebody said, what are my tips for showing daily self-love throughout my journey? It's enjoying myself laughing. I think laughter is such an important part. If you can't laugh at things, then what's the point?
And laughing at yourself.
Be as ridiculous as possible.
Definitely.
I am the most ridiculous human on the planet.
She
and
is. We can vouch for that.
And I embrace my ridiculousness. I mean, who else would post a picture of her hair and then a picture of Beaker and say, yeah, this is what people are telling my hair looks like.
Me.
And you know, really, you have to love yourself. What this all comes down to is learning to love yourself. And because if you love yourself, I guess I want to say it's easier. It's always going to be hard. It's not a simple fix, but I think you have to love yourself. Enjoy being with yourself.
Yeah. I love that you said that, because I think when you love yourself, you're willing to do things for yourself even more so.
And you have to forgive yourself.
Yes. Well, that is part of love.
And you have to understand that sometimes you're going to fall down. You're going to do something. And say, okay. Look, you know what? Oh, I screwed up. Okay. I had one of the things my former coach, when we had in-person meetings, would always struck her was I would step on the scale this time and I'd gain, and I'd come back and I'm like, oh, I gained. And she's like, you're not freaking out. I'm like, body's going to do what I say this all the time. Body's going to do what it's going to do.
It's going to do.
It has no real reflection. The scale, your worth is not a number on a scale.
I love that. That's a t-shirt right there.
You are not a number on a scale. You are a human being who with feelings and thoughts and who has so much capacity for so much. You've got to sit there and say, what does that number on a scale really mean? And you know, and that's I think the biggest thing I've taken away from this is that, you know, and I'll say you could, and for me, I don't have a lot of, I'm not like you guys who started because there were some health issues, like you were having Pepto-Bismol and all that stuff. I didn't have that. I've always been in quote unquote perfect health except for my weight. And, you know, I occasionally had to high triglycerides or high blood pressure. It went down. My knees hurt, but I was never at that kind of health need. But that's just me. And I'm lucky. I listen to people talk about their health issues and I think, geez, I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky that I've been able to do stuff. You know,
we're always thankful. We're always thankful for the things that you do or you try to do for yourself. Like you're still, no matter what, even if you have a moment where you're not 100%, you're still thankful for everything else you're doing on your journey to make yourself better.
Well, you're allowed to be disappointed. I think people realize, don't think, they think, oh, I can't be disappointed in myself. I can't do anything that's going to disappoint me, because no, I think what happens is
screw up. I screwed up so many times in my life. What the heck? We all do this. What do you say to a kid? Okay, let's think about numbers here. What do you say to somebody who's done an exam and didn't do as well in an exam as they would have?
You suck.
Well, my mom would say, what do you mean you only got a 96? You couldn't get 100?
But the reality is, it's just a mark. You were able to something. You were able to regurgitate information back, and not everybody's number is important. Like not everybody's good at that. I was never good at the numbers because I have a learning disability, but I can write like nobody's business. Yeah, and I would get great marks on writing exam essays.
We watched Encanto yesterday.
Oh my goodness!
So if you've not seen it, it's a Disney movie, and it's basically one of the morals of the story is everybody has a gift.
Yes, we all have gifts,
and so you need to stop comparing your gifts to others because each of our gifts are important.
Embrace your gift.
Embrace what you're good at. If you know you're good at something, it might not be, may not be, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and I'm dating myself with the names. I don't even know what he does. Is he a basketball player or something?
Yeah, he's basketball.
Oh, I actually got the right sports. Wow, points for Nick. You might not be a professional basketball player, but you might be an amazing friend. You might be the person that people turn to talk to when they need someone to talk to. And these are all very important qualities that are not put on a pedestal for the world to.
We're not a monolith.
No. Yeah,
it's not a monolith of. And it makes no sense for me to sit there. I can sit there and say, oh, well, so-and-so's dropped their weight. Somebody who may have been the same weight as I am. I don't know their background and their story. That doesn't mean that they're
any better
because they lost it faster. They're better people than me.
Nope.
What makes you a good person is who you are on the inside, how you treat other people, and how you treat yourself. And the ultimate comes down to it.
Yes. And I honestly think number one is how you treat yourself goes to show how you will treat others sometimes, right? It's like start treating yourself like you would be treating others, because you're going to treat other people so nicely, but we never treat ourselves with the same kindness, right?
We never do.
Absolutely.
So, I wanted to ask you a question that we asked someone last week, and you said you'd be so surprised with what my answer is.
You already know my answer.
But I want everybody else to know what the answer is. It has nothing to do with me. So we had asked Maureen this question last week, and I thought this was a great question. Who or what inspires you? So we asked that, and Rosie, right after the show, goes, "Oh my God, you would die to know who this is." So I would love for her to answer that question to all of you.
I inspire myself.
Mic drop.
I'm the most important person. I mean, there's many people who inspire me in the world, but ultimately when it comes down to, you need to inspire yourself. It's the only way to get through your life, because you're the only person you are stuck with for your whole life is yourself.
He's always in here. He's always talking, like, shut up, Nick.
And you know, the funny thing is I've always talked to myself, always. Even as a little kid, when I would walk anywhere, that's what my walking does, is that you guys get a little glimpse into my walk and talk. But that is really, really important. If I've learned that. I wasn't always this way. I wouldn't have said that I influence myself.
And that's a valid point that you just made right there, Rosie. People look at us now, you on the way you are and what you've done in your journey, us, how we weren't always like this. This is just a small fraction of our lives. You guys have only known us, like, I'm 38 now. I only lost my weight at 34. I started at 34, so really it was 35. So it's only been 3 years of my life I've been this mindset and these thoughts have been in my head. 35 years of my life, that wasn't in here. So if you're
I had moments of believing in himself,
but not all the time. And so it took time and effort to get here. And so if you're sitting around going, "Oh, I don't have that. I don't feel that myself." It's okay not to feel that right now. It's okay. You might discover that feeling next week, a month from now. But what I want to say is that don't stop trying to find that feeling within yourself.
Well, I posted that video of us a couple years ago when we went to Tina and Tony's wedding, and one of the actresses grabbed me, and because I was dancing,
I was not on camera,
and he was not on camera, but she grabbed me, and I started dancing on the dance floor. And someone made a comment about, "Wow, of course, Jean-Luc out there making, you know what I mean, getting the attention. Like, that's not." And it's funny, but back then I did that because it made me feel important, and it made me feel like I was worthy. If I was out there making a fool out of myself, it made me, you know what I mean? I was like you, Rosie. Yeah. I was like, oh, people are looking at me, not because I'm big, but because I'm being funny. I'm being ridiculous. But
you and I are the same way in a lot of ways. You know that, so.
Identical, I find.
I was sitting behind the camera, not on the dance floor, going, "Don't look at me."
And I do have Nick qualities too. Like you and I, it's very funny when I spend time with you guys, and I'm like, there's so much that Jean-Luc and I are like, and then I'll start talking to Nick, and I'm like, Nick and I have a lot in common too. So it's just, you know, I'm like sort of smack in the middle of you two.
You're our yin and yang.
So Rosie, we want to thank you so much for being our guest this week. I know you're here every week, but we wanted to give you.
When you're not here, you're missed.
We wanted to give you a spotlight and have you actually speak your journey, because a lot of people have seen you but have not heard all of this from you. So it's been nice to have you all be able to say that tonight.
I have one more question. Can we ask one more question?
Okay.
Okay.
Do you have a funny story to tell us about your journey? Something that happened to you that was hilarious that you remembered while you were going through your journey?
I don't know. Do you have one that you know that I don't?
No, I don't. I was just wanting to know if you had one.
Okay. Well, what I will tell you guys is sort of like we've known each other only for a short period of time, but it feels like we've been friends forever. But
yeah.
About probably my second week first of all, in my second week of doing this journey, Nick and Jean-Luc walked into my meeting and were there, and they were taking a picture because it was at a Loblaws in the kitchen, and they have the mirrors so they can see the hands of the chef, and they were taking a picture of me being a dork, like Jean-Luc might do. I'm like, hey, right in the, I photobombed them.
I remember that.
But my other moment was during it, you guys were doing your Sunday nights and it was on YouTube, and I was working on an election campaign. In the middle of that election campaign is actually when you said to me, hey, we think you're really great. Do you want to come and do a show with us? And I was like totally fangirling, but I would watch this, and you were doing one where you'd get up and start walking. And my favorite is one of my friends who I work with on the campaign was like, what is this? I told them, and they were like, oh, cool. And then right after that, you guys asked me to be on that. He was like, oh my God, this baby started freaking out for me. It was really funny. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Then the idea of when we finally met with Kim and I were driving with her sister to meet you guys, and I was sitting here freaking out, going, oh my God.
We're not that scary, right? We're not that scary.
Fangirling. It's all about fangirling. It's the same as like when Bill Huck mentions my name. I'm like, oh my God, Bill Huck knows who I am.
We feel the same way. Bill mentions
it's like that with all sorts of people. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know it. You don't know you touch people. I think it's a really important thing. Share your stories. You do not know who you are going to touch out there. Every single one of us has something of value to other people. And I think it's really important because you never know who says something that will make you feel special.
Rosie,
we're very big on that. We're very big on that. That's why we love having the group. We love people sharing. We love people sharing their posts, people sharing their struggles, their recipes. We love seeing people converse. Like that's one of the things that we think is a benefit to our journey. For us to continue is having the group and the community and all of you around us and running through all this with you all. Like we do a lot of this stuff because we're not going anywhere. We're still working a lot of stuff. Like we said, website's changing. There's a shop coming. A cookbook is coming. All the things we've been talking about for years are actually
be life and wellness coaches.
Yeah, we're gonna be life and wellness coaches. We're in school right now, so we're doing a lot of stuff. We're even organizing. There's going to be something called Dinners with Jean-Luc and Nick, where you'll be able to have dinner with us on Zoom. So there's stuff coming that we're organizing that we want to make sure we want to do this for everybody. We like helping people. We realize that that's something that works for us and that helps us on our journey to keep going. And so if we can help by paying it forward and continuing to do that, we're going to keep going and not stopping.
If we pay it forward, then somebody else pays it forward. Can you imagine the
I think it's already happening. It's happening already.
It's already happening. The spread of kindness and goodness that we can create and share.
I look at Sergio and Goody's show, like their show.
They do that.
And to me, that's like, I don't know if they would have done that if they wouldn't have seen us doing it. And I'm not saying that they were inspired by us, but I'm saying there's a lot of people we see out there that we've talked to who've started their own things because Nicole started her painting on the Serenity Stones.
The
stones. Like she started this because Jean-Luc made a suggestion. And that's amazing for us that this beautiful thing stemmed from just us blabbing on a Sunday show with all of you, because that's what we do. We talk a lot.
Yeah. Well, the thing is we just want everybody to know that you're all important.
Yeah.
You all have, like Rosie just said, you all have a story.
Share it.
You all have something to share.
And you all have value.
You
all have value.
Yes.
Remember this. You are all beautiful. You are all awesome. And you all have value. Sometimes it's really hard to feel that way, but you really do. And if you're having a hard time reaching out to people who value you and love you, there's nothing like that, right? Mm-hmm. And this community is great for that kind of thing.
And we always encourage everybody, go live in our group. Mm-hmm. It's a safe place. Feel free if you want to go talk to, and you're not a writer, turn your phone on, go live for a few minutes, introduce yourself.
Just heads up. If you go live, you have to wait for a moderator to
approve it.
Yeah. So you won't necessarily get somebody. That I do videos. Kim likes to do lives, but
that's feel free.
I just started doing videos on their thing. That's how this whole insanity started.
Well, again, Rosie, thank you so much for being here tonight. We greatly appreciate. We love you to pieces. You are just,
love you more.
You mean the world to us.
Where are you going?
He's going to make some chicken.
Love you more.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Thank you so much, Rosie.
Thanks, guys.
So that was a great show. Thank you again.
Awesome. Awesome. We love talking to Rosie. We love talking to all of you.
Yeah,
every single one of you.
Maureen's conversation last week, when we had Agnes and Sergio, when we had Leslie, when we had Bill and Hetty, that's why we changed the show.
Knowledge.
That's why we changed the show.
Community. There's so much knowledge, and to tap into everybody's, I'm a firm believer in aces in their places. And what? We have a crap load of aces. We have a crap load of our deck. Our hand was totally stacked.
So a few announcements. So you guys might have heard that we've now gotten a Shape Scale coupon code. Woo-hoo! And what's crazy is that if you actually use the coupon code, you can actually get a year's subscription for the price of 6 months. So you're basically getting half a year free on this using the scale. And for those who don't know what that is, it's our scale with colors. It's our scales with colors. So instead of showing you a number, it shows you how you're trending. Right now, for me, I've been green for a few days, which means I'm maintaining.
I was teal all week, blue yesterday, and back to teal today.
I was green again today. And you know what that means for me? It's giving me hope because my other scale has been going up for 3 weeks. But this one's been staying green. So I'm like, I'll just keep going. I won't stop. And I know that my body works like this. I usually always maintain for a long time before my body starts to lose again. So I'm not stopping this time. I'm just continuing like I always do.
And the obsession of a number is nowhere in sight.
And yes, it is available in the US and Canada.
US and Canada.
So you just go to myshapa, myshapa.com and use the coupon code Jean-Luc and Nick. It's that easy. Jean-Luc, JENLUCANDNICK. That's it. Just like that. Said. And you're all set. Our guests that are coming up, we have a lot of guests.
So next Sunday, we have a new guest that none of you know. Her name is Jennifer Wood. She is a hypnotist. She is a certified hypnotist that actually has a school that teaches people how to become hypnotists. And they work with smoking, how to quit smoking, how to lose weight. There's a whole mindset she works on, and it's actually called wellnesscanada.ca is their website. So she'll be here talking about her journey and how she got into this
and how she helps people
and how she helps
through
people,
hypnosis.
Yeah, through hypnosis.
Then on February 20th, we have Michelle, who's in the chat right now. Michelle's our guest. Woo-hoo! And then you should see her before and after pictures. Yes. Those are coming up too. You'll see them. It's insane.
Crazy.
And then on the 27th, we have Kevin who's also here tonight. Yay! So Kevin's coming up on the 27th. And then we have on March 6th, we have Kim, who's also here tonight.
My goodness. I love it.
Coming up. Then on the 13th.
Then on the 13th, we have a special guest, actually a childhood friend of mine. Her name's Shannon. And she's actually gone through cancer. She's going through cancer as we speak. She's had a breast cancer, mastectomy for both. She's had hysterectomy. She's going through another bout of chemo, but has to be the most positive person I've ever experienced and heard. She's speaking about her journey on her Facebook page. And when I reached out to her and asked, I said, is this something you'd be willing to come talk to? I think it would be really, really good to hear your story. And she's like, I am there in a heartbeat. So I'm so glad that she was willing to come and talk to us about this.
New guests announced right now. March 20th is Susan Edwards is coming, WW coach, and she's going to be talking about her. She's had multiple heart surgeries.
She just had one just recently.
And so she'll be talking to us on March 20th. And then March 27th.
This is so exciting. Not only actually someone that I worked with as a student, but actually as an adult, our deaf real estate agent and his partner will be coming. His real estate partner, part of his team, Sam will actually be coming on the show to talk about what it's like to be a deaf person in a hearing world and what it's like to maneuver having hearing customers without an interpreter. So it'll be very, very interesting. So we will have
an insight into Jean-Luc's life too, what he does as his job.
We'll have an interpreter here working with Tristan. So I'll actually be speaking. I won't be signing, but we will have.
You probably will still at some point.
Of course, my hands.
He can't stop.
If there's a deaf person in the room, of course I'll sign.
And then we already have guest books all through April. And then we have people that have already sent us messages in this room. Like Terry sent us a message. Yes. We have so many people in this room who sent us about being guests on our show. So we're doing this all year.
And so
keep emailing us.
If you do not want to talk about your wellness journey or anything like that, if you have any other type of thing that you would
family members,
or somebody in your family or a friend that you're like
coworkers,
have them send us an email at hello@jeanlucandnick.com, and we'll definitely reach out and see what we can do about having them on the show. We want this to be a holistic show about different parts of being well.
Yeah.
And that doesn't just mean about the food we eat. It's about what's between our ears and
feeling good inside and hearing inspirational stories. So on screen, you have all our stuff. This is all going to start changing soon. It's not going to
look like this.
Our website logo is changing. Logos are changing everywhere.
You want to tease them with the logo? Look.
I can quickly.
You want to tease them?
Okay, I'll come right back. Keep talking for a second. What
am I talking about now? Oh my goodness, I'm on the spot. I don't know what to say.
I can't believe you're at a loss for words.
I thought you were going to see it. I can't believe it's not butter. I am usually not at a loss for words.
He's not. He's always not. Shut up.
Okay, speaking of not shutting up, Nick is fun to talk.
I never talk.
Never. So we are so excited about showing you guys our new logo. It's actually was really fun to work with the company that we're working with.
Yeah, we've hired a social media company helping us now.
They are helping us now. And we are super excited about what it looks like and what it's become.
So this is actually the caricatures we got made a while back.
Caricatures that we had made a while back are now going to be part of our logo sometime. So we're so excited.
Like we said, we are in a process of adding a lot of stuff to our website. We're trying to make our site interactive. So there's actually going to be ways for you guys to interact
with each other
on our website now. We're making it a community-based website. A cookbook is coming for sure. How-to guides. We're actually going to create how-to guides. So
our shop is coming.
So everything we've been talking about for years, we hired people to do it because Nick and Jean-Luc ran out of time.
We don't know how to do it.
And we don't know how to do it.
What did we say earlier? Aces in your places, right?
Yeah. Even website. I'm shocked I handed that off. I'm so I was like, no, I'm done now. I can't take care of it anymore. Here, someone else look at it.
But you know what? That allows us to focus on other things and allows us to be out there focusing with you guys and bringing more content for you.
Well, there's more bloggers coming. There's one more. There's one more. There's two more coming already, and there's two more in my inbox. So there's more coming. Like we said, we want to be a holistic place for everything. Health and wellness. We want you guys to be inspired and continue on your journeys to never give up. So on that note, we will say have a great week. We're hungry. We haven't had dinner yet. I know it's late. I know we shouldn't be eating this late, but that's what happens when you're busy doing P3 stuff with Kieran and Antonetta.
So thanks again, everybody. Have a great week. Have a great evening. Bye Facebook, bye Instagram. Oh, Instagram, I already lost them because the battery on the phone died.
Here we go. It's stream, but that's okay.
Bye Facebook.
Woohoo! Oh, that I was showing our before pictures. Is this post?
Yeah, I ended Facebook.
I'm gonna end Instagram.
I can turn the oven back on.
Barbie doll, just send me a DM, okay, to get the information about Shape Up. I'll send it to you in a private chat, okay? Just send me a message.